Aloha kakahiaka and welcome to the 38th session of the Hawaii County Council. The date today is May 5th, 2026, and we are meeting today at our West Hawaii Civic Center chambers. And to begin today's meeting, we have Pastor Charles Broadhead of Kona Church of the Nazarene to provide our invocation. Good morning, Pastor.
Well, good morning. Greetings to you here in this chamber, in the chamber in Hawaii. It's always a pleasure to pray for you and bless you and your proceedings today. So let's go before Keakua. Gracious and almighty God, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude. We give you thanks and praise for your mighty works and your loving goodness and your gracious nature among us. Mahalo nui for creating and sustaining us day to day. Thank you for making us in your image to exist in community with one another. We thank you for our county, this island, and for these leaders that you have given us, and you have given them the opportunity to serve its people. Father, we come from many places. We come from many backgrounds, ethnicities, yet we are gathered here today inspired by a singular mission to advocate for the well-being of all those who call this beloved island and state our home. We thank you, O God, for your consistent presence and your wisdom that you freely offer us. And we ask for your wisdom to guide these leaders as they deliberate and make decisions today that affect our community and islands. May they be guided to do what is right and defy anything that would diminish justice. We pray for respect within this chamber and that your presence would be felt in their midst. Grant them the discernment, O Lord, to act with integrity, to act with fairness, to be patient, to listen to one another, and the grace to understand each different perspective. May your truth be the foundation of every decision that is made. May their work be righteous in your sight, serving the greater good and bringing glory to your name. But most of all, may everything that is done today be done in the spirit of aloha, love, and unity. Strengthen these servants, O Lord, as they work to improve the lives of those they represent. Lead them today and always so that they may bring glory to and honor to you. It's in the great and majestic name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor. With that, we're calling this meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Galemba. Councilmember Eustace.
Present.
Councilmember Kagiwana.
Here.
Councilmember Connie Lee Kleinfelder.
Here.
Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Present.
Councilmember Kimball.
Here.
Vice Chair Onishi.
Present.
Councilmember Villegas.
Ao.
Chair Nava.
Ayo.
Chair Nava, you have 8 members present. You have quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you please lead the group in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand if you feel comfortable doing so. Thank you. And noting that some members are joining us from our Hilo chambers this morning. Aloha to you all over there in Hilo. Before we jump into our official part of the agenda, we do have a couple of certificates to present on behalf of the council this morning. The first being for the 2026 National Correctional Officers Week, which is actually this week, and I'd like to call on Pastor Renee Godoy and members from our Corrections and Rehabilitation Department. I believe we have folks joining us this morning from both Kulani and HCCC, so we invite you to join Pastor Godoy at the front table. And feel free to just pull up another chair. Yes. All right, Pastor Godoy.
Good morning, County Council members, both in the chambers and via Zoom. First of all, I want to thank you all. In the course of the years I've been serving first responders, I've met personally with each and every one of you, and you've all been so supportive, especially in our beginnings. And so I just want to extend that mahalo to you. We're going into appreciation weeks, and to give a little history, we started out doing appreciation weeks. I did as a police chaplain, I think over 15 years ago with police. We started off small with our church, baking cookies, and we could only take to the Hilo station. But through the years, the chaplaincy has grown, the faith community has, provided support. With the starting of the nonprofit, we got businesses. So now we're able to reach out to all of the stations, the sworn and the civilian personnel in both police, fire, dispatch, corrections, where we've been doing it for about 4 years now, and also lifeguards coming up. So thank you very much. Because the more community support we give to these people in the workplace, yeah, and when they're happy in the workplace, a lot of them spend a much more time at work. Then there's happier families and happier communities. And for corrections, I'm especially really excited today because they get very little recognition for the very hard work that they do. They work long hours. They are a very important part of our public safety. Lots of times police and fire and paramedics, they're seen as heroes, and often corrections officers are not, and yet they are. When we started our nonprofit in 2021, we decided immediately that corrections was going to be part of the agencies that we would reach out to. And so we're really grateful that they're here today. And they are first responders because they're the first to respond when something happens in the prisons and the jails, which you do know does happen. And they work long hours, often in facilities that are overcrowded. So I'm really excited today to really elevate the dignity of their position and be a part of giving them recognition for their hard work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor. And yes, I believe we have from Kulani, Warden Forbes, and from HCCC, Warden Mahoy. And just want to give you folks a short opportunity to recognize those that you oversee in your respective positions.
Aloha, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I am Warden Ruth Forbes from Kulani Correctional Facility. And on the way over, I was telling ACO Gonzalez, who accompanied me today, that so often we don't realize that with the overtime and overcrowding, that most of our employees work more than 40 hours a week. And when you think about the time they spend in the facility, that's more time at work than they do spend with their families or doing recreational things or things that they enjoy to actually take care of themselves. And so, as a warden, I am just excited to celebrate them this week and to support them in whatever they need to do their jobs, to be healthy in mind, body, spirit, and to be, good members of the correctional department and our community and to their families. So thank you for this opportunity to honor them this week.
Good morning, Council. My name is Kramer Mahoy, Warden of HCCC. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for showing recognition to our department. It's been long waiting, being part of it, appreciating our staff, like Warden Ruth Forbes saying, we spend more time with at the facility than we do with our own families, and that at times put a lot of stress on our immediate families. And we just thank you for recognizing us, and we appreciate all that you guys do for us and for the community. Thank you.
Mahalo nui, Warden. Opening it up to members at this time, if anybody would like to say anything. Councilmember Villegas.
Oh, mahalo for bringing this new avenue of appreciation before us. You folks serve in a critical role. Having read the news over the years, severely underfunded, understaffed, overpopulated, and are trying to navigate maintaining the health, well-being, rehabilitation, and safety of those who have been allocated, given, sent sent to your care in order for the rest of our community to remain healthy and safe. I apologize that you haven't received as many of the resources, and the facilities are deteriorating. So having you here today, getting to see your faces, hear your words, recognize the sacrifice you make by not having that extra time when you're with family, when you're underfunded and understaffed, but you care. You continue to show up and lean in and do more, often to the detriment of your own health and well-being. So I'm clinging to hope that we will be able to, this all comes mostly from the state level, but that you'll get the support you need, because we need you and we appreciate you. And so thank you for being here with us today and allowing us the opportunity to honor you, to elevate the importance of your role, and to recognize your continued service above self. So thank you.
Thank you.
Checking over in Hilo. All right. Well, on behalf of the Hawaii Island community, the Hawaii County Council expresses our gratitude and aloha and appreciation for the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and recognize you and all of your employees during this National Correctional Officers Week. Thank you so much for being here in Kona today to receive this certificate.
Thank you.
Presented to you.
Oh.
Alrighty, and our second certificate this morning, we are getting ahead for next week, because next week is Police Appreciation Week. So I'm going to hand it over to Chaplain Godoy again, and then joining her this morning is Deputy Chief of the Hawaii Police Department, Sherry Bird.
Again, thank you to the County Council for always supporting our police department, our officers, and anytime I, asked for help, and if it was within your ability, you have always supported and helped. So we really, really appreciate the support and the aloha for our police department. You've probably heard me say so many things and read so many letters I've written about them. I'm just going to throw in a little police trivia, because I've been serving with them, I think it's 19 years now, and every year I learn something new. And something I learned recently in the last year is that all first responders have chronic pain. And when that was first told to me by a presenter, a speaker that came to do training, I was skeptical. I thought, all of them? I know some of them need hip surgery after. So I began my own little research, asking every first responder, and probably if I asked Deputy Chief Sherry Bird, do you have chronic pain? Yes, she does. Yes, and so I went around and I asked everyone, and everyone said yes. And I remember asking interim chief, fire chief Dan Volpe that question. He said, yeah, we all do. And he said, if you think about it, we all played sports in high school, most of us. We had athletic injuries. And then the work that they do for the police officers, the weight of their belt, so many of them do need hip surgery. And when I started asking this question, it was like, oh yeah, I have sciatica. Oh yeah, I have back pain. Oh yeah, I have hip. I had a surgery. And I was like, unbelievable. And when you think about firefighters have to pull people in an emergency situation out of a vehicle, they don't really have time to think if they're using the correct posture. And so this is just another thing. And so much aloha to our police officers for their work, their dedication, their commitment to keeping our community safe, heading towards things we run from. So much mahalos to them. We appreciate them. And also, I just want to say congratulations for the promotions that are in the room. Deputy Chief Sherry Bird here, so excited to see her promoted, as well as Assistant Chief Rio Amon Wilkins, Mayor Valera, and others. So thank you very much, County Council.
Good morning. On behalf of Chief Mahuna, myself, and the Hawaii Police Department, we'd like to thank the council, Cherry Naba, council members for taking the time to recognize our department for National Police Appreciation Week. We definitely appreciate it. I'm proud to say that we have a department full of officers who are working tirelessly to make sure that our Big Island remains a safe place to be. And we're definitely eternally grateful for the support of our various communities and our county council. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Opening it up to members of the council, start in Hilo if there are any. All right, coming back to Kona then, Councilmember Eustace.
Thank you, Chair. Mahalo, Deputy Chief. Mahalo, Pastor. Appreciate those words, and great to see the new promotions here in the room as well, Major and Assistant Chief. Congratulations to all of you in your leadership. Really want to mahalo all the work that you do in our communities and express that gratitude along with my colleagues. So thank you for joining us here this morning.
Councilmember Villegas.
Yes, I second, third, fourth, and 1 millionth that. Thank you, Pastor Godoy, for sharing your, that insight about chronic pain as I sit on a pillow.
Yeah.
As well, this job seems sedentary. I'm joining you. I just have such immense gratitude, and I want to personally congratulate you for your promotion. And I wasn't able to attend, but your leadership, your advocacy, your determination to serve as a woman in a department that has historically been more male leadership roles. You're the first, and I'm just so grateful, so proud. And I believe that your leadership and the continued leadership of Chief Mahuna, our police department will just continue to improve, and just so much gratitude for all of the work that every one of the members of your team and the different avenues. There's such diversity in the different ways that each division and department under police serves. We have no idea what really goes on, what you really endure. And I hope that the victories far outweigh the challenges. But thank you for your continued leadership and service, and very grateful for all that you do for us and our community as a whole. I yield.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Godoy and Friends of First Responders, for making sure that we never miss any of our appreciation weeks here at Hawaii County. Councilmember Cornelia Kleinfelder.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mahalo to those who are in our Kona chambers today, and especially to Ms. Godoy, who's been an absolute treasure in helping kind of bridge the gap between government and our police force and ensure that our officers, both fire and police, are always taken care of. You're always a wonderful person to work with, Ms. Godoy, and as well to have our Deputy Chief joining us today in the Kona chambers. And also, I wanted to recognize Assistant Chief Rio Ammon Wilkins, who I believe is going to be taking over the Area 2 or Kona side management, if you will. And I really do commend the police chief for his actions in helping to solidify the way that we are presenting the department to the public and the way that we interact with council and administrative ends of government, and just appreciating the momentum that we have with our first female deputy chief, and then seeing the transition of leadership into Assistant Chief Ammon Wilkins in running Area 2, and seeing what will happen as we move into the future. So wonderful movements within the police department. And again, Ms. Godoy, thank you for what you do to make sure officers are okay.
Thank you, Matt. And it's nice to have like 3 power women here. Yeah, we got a deputy chief, we got a warden, and don't forget me. Thank you very much.
Forget you.
So supportive. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Cornelia Kleinfelder. All righty. Again, so on behalf of the Hawaii County Council, we express our appreciation to all of our police ohana, and to those from the public tuning in today. Next week, May 10th through the 16th is Police Appreciation Week. So if you happen to see or interact with any of our Hawaii Police Department Ohana, please do express your gratitude as well. And we gladly present this certificate to you folks today. We're going to take a brief recess for some photos. We'll be back shortly. Mahalo, we are back from recess and we will proceed with statements from the public on agenda items.
Thank you, Chair Naba. Mr. Araceli, can you provide, help assist us with oral testimony for our courtesy sites on Zoom?
Thank you so much. Chair, we do not, just confirming, we do not have any testifiers at your remote site. We do have one testifier here in the Hilo chamber. Franny Brewer testifying on resolution 317-26. Franny, when you're ready, you can come up to the front table, turn that mic on by pressing the green button at the base, introducing yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Aloha Council, Franny Brewer. I'm the manager of Big Island Invasive Species Committee, and obviously I'm in support of this resolution, but I'm really here to answer questions from you all. So I will give up my 3 minutes to get back to the county council so that you can ask your questions for me.
Thank you so much, Franny. And with that, Chair,
Okay.
those are all the testifiers we have at the beginning of your meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Araceli. And clerk is making his way back.
Thank you, Chair Naba. We do have one testifier in Kona Chambers, and she is making her way to the table now to provide testimony. She is here to testify in Resolution 516. Just push the button at the base of that microphone. Make sure we capture it. There, you're good to go. You have 3 minutes. Please start by introducing yourself.
Royal Majesty, ka iyo manaulo kalaniki e ki e loa ke ahi ena mau kalaulani. Lamaku kaunanui a he kahu o ahu ena he iau. I and the public of Hawaii learned of Resolution 51626 on April 21st, 2026, the very same day that the hearing for the matter was announced by Big Island Video News. The title of the article was County Council Eyes Kumukahi Land Acquisition in Puna. Pono ole, unrighteousness. Ms. Kirkowitz, Puna Geothermal Venture has received testimony from me. Fissure 8 was bestowed its great historic name, O Makaolaho Kalua Kalani, by Most High Akua, by my carriage of this spirit. I and others who reside in beloved Hawaii are the voices you, leaders, and other council members are absolutely called to hear, relevant to the sacred lands of Hawaii. This testimony is familiar to you, for it was presented to this council at the advent of Zendo Kern's term as planning director. This testimony confirms the 50th year commemoration for the restoration of Ahuenaheau by restorer and kahu, Ali'i David Kili'ihele Mauna Roy Jr. This testimony confirms how Ahuenaheau is the representation of Earth's true temple, Mauna Wakea. This in 2010, I, Kahunanui, and Kahu of Ahuenaheau began receiving messages from the ancestors of Oiwi of Hawaii, the Pacific, and all of the earth. I am Lamaku, standing torch for Akua, Most High God. I am Kumuhula of Halau o Kumukahi. I follow Akua's guidance on how sacredness at Kumukahi and everywhere prevails for heaven on earth. Akua in these pages announces Keau Lama, the era of light, where Akua promises to heal the planet and all life upon the planet. Akua, divine creator, restores the kingdom of Hawaii by his royal highness, Ali'inui Mo'i Edmund K. Paki Silva II, Kahu of Ahuenaheau at Kamakohonu. Here, divine creator manifests the kingdom of God upon the earth.
Thank you. Are there any other testifiers this morning?
Not at this time, Chair Naba.
Alrighty, we can proceed then with review of our minutes. Are there any amendments to the minutes of the February 18, 2026 council meeting? Seeing none, the minute meetings are deemed approved and we'll proceed with reports.
Is there any testimony for GAC 117, Communication 851? Hearing none, GAC 117, Communication 851, nomination of Jason McWin to the Board of Ethics.
Chair, motion to close file on communication 851 GOEC 117, confirm the nomination of Jason McWin to the Board of Ethics.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to close file on Communication 851 and confirm the nomination of Jason McEwen to the Board of Ethics. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see. Is that 8 ayes, one absent, Councilmember Kalimba. The nomination of Jason McEwen to the Board of Ethics has been confirmed.
Is there any testimony for GOAC 118, Communication 852? Hearing none, GOAC 118, Communication 852, nomination of Kari Clark to the Cost of Government Commission.
Chair, motion to close file on Communication 852, excuse me. GOEC 118, confirm the nomination of Kari Clark to the Cost of Government Commission.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to close file on Communication 852 and confirm the nomination of Kari Clark to the Cost of Government Commission. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8 ayes, 1 absent, Councilmember Kalimba. The nomination of Kari Clark to the Cost of Government Commission has been confirmed.
Is there any testimony for GOAC 119, Communication 853? Hearing none, GOAC 119, Communication 853, nomination of Leonard Louise to the Hamakua Community Development Plan Action Committee.
Chair, motion to close file on Communication 853, GOEC 119, confirming the nomination of Leonard Louise to the Hamakua CDP Action Committee.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to close file on Communication 853 and confirm the nomination of Leonard Louise to the Hamakua CDP Action Committee. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 8 ayes, 1 absent, Councilmember Kalimba. The nomination of Leonard Louise to the Hamakua CDP Action Committee has been confirmed.
Is there any additional testimony for Resolution 516-26? Hearing none, Resolution 516-26 authorize Director of Finance to enter into negotiations for the acquisition of lands or conservation easements for all or portion of the properties identified as tax map keys 140020002, 017042, 047048, 058, 065, 072, 080, 082, 085, 092, and 100, also known as Kumukahi, situated Apua Apkula, District of Puna, utilizing the Public Access Open Space and Natural Resources Preservation Fund. County seeks to acquire approximately 1,967.96 acres of land that is listed as priority number 3 in the 2025 annual report of the Public Access Open Space and Natural Resources Preservation Commission. Introduced by Councilmember Kirkowitz, we have Communication 818.2 from Councilmember Ashley L. Kirkowitz dated April 23, 2026, transmitting proposed amendments to Resolution 516-26.
Chair, motion to adopt Resolution 516-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowitz, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Resolution 516-26. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate the opportunity to bring this forward on behalf of the community. For many years, I watched a couple of mayoral administrations try to pull various property owners together to address critical concerns in the area, particularly the desecration of Iwi Kupuna and the need to re-intern the Iwi Kupuna. And the biggest issue was that with so many property owners, different resources and interests, it was hard to get everybody on the same page. Thankfully, our county has the PUNC program, and when I reached out to every single property owner to socialize the idea of either having the program acquire the properties or entering into a conservation easement, every single one of them could get behind the idea because they understood the critical importance and significance of Kumukahi and the goal of just honoring this special place and preserving, the cultural heritage elements and ensuring that there is long-term, locally rooted stewardship of the area. So this particular resolution would allow the finance director to enter into negotiations with each of the property owners to discuss acquisition strategies. Like I mentioned in committee, and I'll reiterate today, every single property owner is on board There is Ben Shapiro from Punk is here to answer any questions that folks might have. There is a housekeeping measure that I need to take care of now. A couple of the property owners, Uncle Lono Lyman and Judge Glenn Hauer, reached out to just point out some discrepancies in the TMK numbers. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to amend Resolution 516-26 with the contents of Communication 818.2.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowitz, seconded by Councilmember Onishi to amend Resolution 516-26 with the contents of Communication 818.2. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you. As noted in the communication chair, just ensuring that the TMK numbers listed are accurate so that when the PONC office does enter into negotiations with property owners, they're talking about the correct properties. Thank you.
Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of amending Resolution 516-26 with the contents of Communication
Mr. Chair, you cannot
818.2.
vote on this.
Excuse me, please do not interrupt.
You have
We're
not
in the
had the
middle.
testimony from the people. You cannot vote on this. Ms. Kirkowitz, did you not hear my testimony and see what I have given you all? You have seen.
Ms. Roy, we are going to have to go into recess if you cannot respect the decorum of this council meeting and our proceedings.
Service thing.
Council members, we are in recess. Thank you.
There's no question about it. You may not vote for this resolution. You did not give ample time for people to know that this was happening. Ms. Kirkowitz, would you address that?
Please.
To say,
I know, but you can't.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Of Hawaii. No way. You have not heard the people. You cannot vote.
This equipment.
You know,
Stop. You're behaving.
Can you have a comment? This is your district. Please comment.
Yeah.
Please comment. Not vote on this today, Monica.
Please.
And Rebecca, you may not vote on this. Pono ole, Android.
That's 1, 2, test.
Alrighty, we are out of recess. Again, we are on Amendment 818.2, which amends Resolution 516-26. Checking again if there's any discussion on the amendment before we take the vote. Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of amending Resolution 516-26 with the contents of Communication 818.2, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I believe we have 9 ayes now. We're gonna be in recess again. Ms. Roy, for the record, if you cannot respect the decorum of this building, you will be removed. All right, thank you, folks. We are back from recess a few seconds later. We have moved and passed to amend Resolution 516-26 with the contents of Communication 818.2, all 9 members voting in favor. And I will hand it back to Councilmember Kirkowitz at this time for any further discussion.
Thank you, Chair. One thing that I do want to point out is
For
that
the rule suspension.
Oh, thank you. A motion, please, to suspend Rule 23 for further discussion.
so moved.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowitz, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to suspend Rule 23 for further discussion of Resolution 516-26. Roll call vote, please.
On the motion to suspend the rules, Councilmember Galimba,
Aye.
Councilmember Eustace,
No.
Councilmember Kagiwara,
Aye.
Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder,
Aye.
Councilmember Kirkowitz,
Aye.
Councilmember Kimball,
No.
Vice Chair Onishi,
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas,
Aye.
Chair Nava.
Aye.
Chair Nava, you have 7 votes in favor, 2 opposed, those being Councilmember Eustace and Kimball. Motion carries. The rules are suspended.
Thank you, Clerk Hendricks. Passing it back to Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to note that throughout this process, the recognized lineal descendants of the area and the Ohana of the area have been engaged, and the public record of testimony reflects their support of moving forward with acquisition. We're also very fortunate to have had a couple of community nonprofits step up and be willing to lead co-management of the area. There is so much work to do in stewardship of this area to do, no shortage of work. And so it's gonna mean needing all hands on deck to move forward and properly care for this area. But I'm really grateful for Ho'oululahui and the Kumo'o Legacy Foundation for stepping up and looking to provide locally rooted leadership and stewardship of the area. So just looking for everyone's support so that finance can move forward with the next step of this process. Thank you.
Any other discussion in Hilo?
Chair.
Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder.
Just appreciating the intention of this legislation, and I'm not quite sure what I don't know what the right word is, what the deal is or the concern is with the individual who's in the chambers, but and after reviewing the legislation, this is a very positive move for the community in my eyes. So look forward to supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, coming here to Kona, Councilmember Eustace.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to mahalo Councilmember Kirkowitz for bringing this forward, for engaging with community partners in identifying a place to steward and protect for the future. I also want to call out that, with the testifier, and there was some, and part of her testimony, there is some message that was misconstrued in terms of the council acquires property. I mean, we're just part of that process. We have to initiate this process so that the administration can carry it forward and work together with the community. So it's a multi-part step here, and I appreciate Councilor Kirkowitz for bringing this forward to continue that process forward.
Councilmember Villegas.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Eustace. Appreciate you pointing that out and clarifying. I also wanted to just make a quick comment. At a time when trust in government is unfortunately so low, I want to assure anyone watching this meeting today that the appropriate and legal notification timelines have been followed for this. Community always has an opportunity to tune in, to lean in, and to research and find out what issues, ordinances, measures, resolutions, bills will be coming before council. And there are very strict deadlines and timelines on when that information is published and is public. So, we heard from a testifier that there wasn't enough time and community needed more time to be notified. I do want to clarify, community was notified, and in our prior hearings of this issue, a huge number of community members and those actively involved and engaged in the stewardship of this land turned out to testify in support. So I want to encourage anyone who feels they don't get enough time to go ahead and do a little research. Look at the website, find the portals for you to gather information to ensure that you know what's coming forward on our agendas as early as possible. Thank you for your understanding and gracious trust that we are following all procedures, timelines, and protocols appropriately and with due diligence. I yield.
Thank you, Councilmember Villegas. With that, I believe we are ready
Chair.
to take Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Sorry, just a little latitude because Councilmember Villegas did mention just process. This, any member of the community can put forward the nomination of properties to be acquired by the PONC program. That process, the deadline for applications is January of every year. So in January last year, over a year ago, the community was notified about this particular project. There were multiple public meetings by the PONC Commission held to evaluate this and all applications that were received. There are a number of individuals that are involved in public conversations to do due diligence and publicly vet every single application. Every single meeting is open to members of the public to participate in and learn information. And like members have said, this particular step is just another one as part of the process. So just appreciate everyone's engagement over the years to kind of, make this happen. And just to clarify, any properties that are acquired through the PONC program, these become public properties. These are our properties as a community, and they will be preserved in perpetuity for future generations. So it's not an individual member of the council owning these properties. They become the property of the people of the county of Hawaii. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember. Alrighty, all those in favor of approving resolution 516-26 as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 9 ayes. Resolution 516-26 is approved.
Is there any testimony for resolution 517-26? Hearing none, resolution 517-26 authorizes the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement in University of Hawaii Big Island Invasive Species Committee for the purpose of awarding grant funds to control and combat the spread of invasive species. Funds in the amount of $250,000 from the Department of Research and Development be used to support critical invasive species efforts, introduced by Councilmember Kagiwara by request.
Chair, motion to approve resolution 517-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kagiwara, seconded by Councilmember Eustace to approve resolution 517-26. Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you, Chair. We had a good discussion in committee, and during that discussion, a couple minor things came up that we needed to amend, but I wanted to let everybody know we also have representatives from the Department of Research and Development here, as well as BISC manager Franny Brewer, if you have any questions about this particular resolution, which is pretty straightforward, but did need a couple amendments. So I'd like to ask that we amend resolution 517-26 with the contents of communication 821.1.
Moved by Councilmember Kagiwara, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to amend Resolution 517-26 with the contents of Communication 821.1. Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you. Basically, there are two main changes here. One is realizing that BISC is actually part of the UH system and not a separate standalone nonprofit. So we needed to change that throughout both the resolution and the contract that was provided. And then we also had that discussion about the whereas clause that talked about what the monies would be used for. And in that discussion, it came out that there were additional things than those original 5 things listed. So we added one more one more bullet that would let them really work on what was needed. So it says any additional programs, research, or mitigation measures as necessitated by invasive species emergencies with the concurrence of the Director of Research and Development. So that was the part that was added there, just to make that very clear. So if Manager, would you like to come up and say anything about this? We have Franny Brewer here. She can speak to this a little better.
Aloha again. Again, I'm happy to speak on what BISC does or what particularly we were going to hopefully do with this money, but I'm really here for you guys to ask me questions. I could be here all day talking about BISC, honestly.
Well, can you just briefly talk about what this money is going to be used for?
Yeah, it's basically to support programs that we already have going on, addressing coconut rhinoceros beetle, addressing invasive plants. There is a significant chunk that's going towards a project which we have not done a significant amount of work on before. We've helped with the outreach and communications on two-line spittlebug, which is affecting mainly ranches on the west side of the island. But this past year, we saw our first 2 detections of two-line spittlebug on the east side of the island. So it is unfortunately spreading. And over the years, we've worked with Dr. Mark Thorne, who is the rangeland specialist for CTAR on the west side. And he has been asking for more help because as it spreads to more ranches, he wants to give better support to the ranchers with mitigation strategies and how they can combat the pest on their property. So we are going to help by hiring 2 positions that will support specifically that team. And those will be 1-year positions with the hope that eventually this is going to be picked up. I know there was a bill moving through the legislature, and I don't know where it ended up, where they were trying to persuade the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity to hire those positions, and I don't know if that came to anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Chair, I yield so other people, if they have any questions this time.
Chair?
The amendment, any further discussion?
Chair.
Vice Chair Onishi.
Thank you, Chair. RD, can you please come up? Because basically, this is your bill, right? Or your
Yes.
resolution.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the whereas where it says organizations that do not qualify as non-profit, what do you mean by that?
That's under our current county code. So there lists the different categories of organizations that could get county funding. So usually
That are
there's
not nonprofits.
yeah. So there's a certain language in there that allows for non-profits.
Okay,
to
that's what
receive
we
funding.
kind of
Yeah.
So people know what.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
So the public knowledge is that you don't have to be a nonprofit, and you could also apply for this grant funds, correct?
Correct. Under certain
So
requirements. Yeah.
would the Parks and Recreation be able to apply for this grant?
I believe that would be a question for Corp Counsel and Finance to answer. I wouldn't know if
Okay, because
a county agency could apply for another county agency's funding.
because
But then this 250,000 is coming from the county itself?
General funds.
Okay, okay.
Correct.
So it's, because for the previous term, I always got money for the fire ants. And then it kind of stopped.
Mhm.
R&D stopped trying to get the funding because I know we got one time from the state invasive species, I guess council they call it, or committee. It went to Big Island invasive species. And then they ran out of that funds. Then I was going to go get some more, but then R&D, I guess at that time, didn't want to move forward or didn't want the funding, so it stopped. And so I think ever since then, there's no other funding source to businesses or to farmers or to even residential to help fight the fire ants, right? And so Parks and Rec, I know they could use more money to help with them. So,
Understood.
yeah. So is finance or corporation counsel out in Kona?
We have corporation counsel here.
Okay. Can they come up?
You can go ahead with your question.
So
She's a-
just basically, is Parks and Rec allowed to apply for this grant?
Good morning, Renee Schoen, Corporation Counsel. There's no preclusive language within that section of the county code. But I can't recall a situation where a county department would seek grant funding from another county agency.
Well, in this situation, it's because of what we're talking about, invasive species. So fire ants is one of them. Parks and Rec has a vector control that is treating all our county parks and facilities. And, they do sometimes need more funding to help them. So they could, so you're saying that they could apply for this grant?
I'm saying that I'm not sure. There's no preclusive language within the code that I'm aware of, but it's probably something that we speak to finance about and also Parks and Recreation to see if there's, some other revenue stream that they could seek rather
No, I
than.
understand that. I understand, but I'm just asking about this funding. But thank you. Thank you very much. And so the other question I had on the back, the one that you're adding on another, I guess, whereas in number 3, so for the staffing and Chair, let me know if I'm kind of going outside, but because I can talk about this, about the staffing when we come back to the main motion. Would that be better than talking
If
about
it's
this?
about the general resolution, yeah, we can wait on that.
Okay.
Or if it's specific to number 6, which is what
Okay.
I just heard you say, you can continue.
Okay, so on the 6 additional, so that means R&D would be consulted by your committee or council committee,
We're committee.
committee, okay.
Yeah.
If you folks want to do something else than this 5 that is listed. Okay,
That's
got it. Okay, thank you. I'll yield right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment? Councilmember Eustace.
Thank you, Chair. Just to clarify, Deputy Director Lin, the resolution was written by you and your office?
Correct.
And then Councilmember Kagiwara, you wrote the amendments, correct?
That's correct.
Kind of confused why some of these are significant changes in here, so kind of confused why some of this wasn't caught we didn't do it in committee. Because I thought we had a similar resolution a year ago. So recognizing or the improper recognition of BISC as a nonprofit organization kind of is a red flag there. So grateful that we're amending that and changing that, but I think this should have been caught earlier. Thank you.
May I respond, Chair?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to let you know that, yes, indeed, it was incorrect a year ago. And we put it through. We caught it this year, but, and so we're correcting it.
Thank you, Councilmember Kagiwara. All right, any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of amending Resolution 517-26 with the contents of Communication 821.1, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 9 ayes. Resolution 517-26 has been amended. A motion, please, to suspend Rule 23 for further discussion.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Kagiwara, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to suspend Rule 23 for further discussion of this amended resolution. Roll call vote, please.
On the motion to suspend the rules, Councilmember Glemba,
Aye.
Councilmember Eustace,
No.
Councilmember Kagiwara,
Aye.
Councilmember Conley Kleinfelder,
Aye.
Councilmember Kirkowitz,
Aye.
Councilmember Kimball,
No.
Vice Chair Onishi.
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas,
Aye.
Chair Nava.
Aye.
Chair Nava, you have 7 votes in favor. Councilmembers Eustace and Kimball voting no. The motion carries. The rules are suspended.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the resolution as amended?
Yes, please, Chair.
Councilmember Conley Kleinfelder.
Thank you. I ran into Miss Brewer at a community event, and we had a nice discussion. Thank you for your time. I'm going through my brain. So BISC is going to be addressing with county funding invasive species controls that we've outlined in the amendment now and added to. You're not a non-profit.
We are part of the University of Hawaii.
You're part of the UH.
Yeah.
And then how does UH fund your organization that does such amazing work?
Fund our organization.
Say that again?
UH does not fund our organization.
UH does not fund your organization. So you're part of UH, but they don't fund you.
This is where it gets confusing. We operate like a nonprofit in that we have to find our own funding. And the university processes that funding for us and maintains all the accounting and makes sure we're operating within the rules. And yeah, it's sort of one way.
It's kinky.
Yeah.
It's just
It's a little bit,
kinky.
yeah.
Okay. And then there's HISC and there's BISC, right?
The HISC is a completely separate entity that is sort of an state government level council. And they do offer a grant program, and we apply for funding from that annually. But they are not connected to us in any way as far as like physical connection.
UH run and organized, no funding given. And then your job right now, because you're getting, according to this resolution, 250,000 to address invasive species that get here because the state allowed them to get here. But the UH is your umbrella organization, but they don't give you funding. So the county now, this is the heart of it for me. The county is now funding the state legislation's inability to fund you through the correct channels. Does that make sense? Is that about right?
It does make sense.
Actually, it doesn't make sense, but that's the reality.
That is the reality of the situation. We never get enough funding from the state to completely, our funding, how much funding we get and what we get funding for determines what we work on. So if I don't get funding on certain, I actually pursue funding, right? And if I don't get funding for something, then that's a program that I can't offer. Like, that's basically how it works. And it doesn't mean that anyone else is going to be there to pick up those pieces. It usually just means that it goes away.
So if BISC just stopped, who would run what you do here on island? Anybody? Would HISC step in?
No, the HISC does not. The HISC is a council that's made up of representatives from 6 different departments of the state. So they make decisions about how money in the state is put towards invasive species, but they don't run any of the work that we do.
Who is HISC?
HISC is it's the Department of Transportation,
Yeah,
Department
Dennis.
of
Look at Dennis.
Department of Transportation, Department of Health, Department of Commerce, DLNR, HTOA, well, DAB.
So a number of state departments,
Yes.
and then what, like deputy directors of each department?
Yeah, they have to designate. Right now, the co-chairs are actually the chairs of DLNR and HDAB.
The co-chairs of HISC
Mhm.
are the
Chairs.
chairs.
So it would be Sharon Hurd and Dawn Chang are the chairs of the HISC.
And then they how do they where are they in the chain of UH to BISC?
The HISC gets an allocation from the state, which right now goes to DLNR, but as of next year will start going to DAB. And then the HISC meets, they're required to meet, it's a statutorily created body. So they will then make advisements of how that money should be granted out. So there's a committee that they put together to look at all the grants that are put in. And those are statewide, and those are all kinds of invasive species grants.
Does HISC give you grants?
Yeah. Yeah,
Are
that's where about 50% of our funding comes from,
How
or
mu-
has historically.
What is your funding this year?
From the HISC,
Well, from all sources.
it's usually around 1.3 to 1.5 million.
And that includes the county's 250,000.
Yes.
That's $250,000.
Yes,
So almost a quarter of your budget comes from the county.
it does now. Yep.
And
This is the second year, so yeah.
yeah. Okay, so UH, this is interesting.
So, I mean, so we're through RCUH. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but that RCUH is set up to be sort of this place where money is put from different sources. So when the HISC or when BISC was set up, which was just after the HISC was set up, it was really this time when the state was looking at invasive species. And BISC has a steering committee, just like a nonprofit would have a board. We have a steering committee. Doesn't quite have as much power as a board, but they're basically an advisory committee. They represent a bunch of different state, federal, county folks and nonprofits that help guide, what we do. But when it first started and that group got together, everybody was putting in money, right? So there was money from the Forest Service, there was money from DLNR, there was money from different organizations. No one group could fund an invasive species committee. So RCUH is what the university has set up to manage these kinds of projects where money is coming from different sources. So it's like a clearinghouse for money. And this is how watershed partnerships on this island operate. It's how Hawaii Ant Lab operates. It's actually a really common structure. And I don't know if you saw, but the university just put out like a press release this week trying to tout their role in invasive species. But there is kind of a long history of the university being very involved in invasive species. But yeah, I mean, most of the work I think that even the researchers do, like the researchers at the university will also apply for HISC grants to cover their research. So their salaries are paid by the university, which is not the case for us, but research grants, they still have to go out and seek for funding, which is similar to what we do.
All right. I'm trying to follow you. So UH provides funding to HISC and BISC?
No.
No, just BISC.
Yeah.
HISC funding comes
UH
from.
does work in invasive species,
Got it.
but even the people who do work in invasive species that are employees of UH, they also have to seek outside funding to do their work.
Roger. Okay.
So sometimes they'll apply for a HISC grant and the HISC will give them money.
So separate funding comes from the state to HISC.
Yes, it's about
UH,
$4.5
which is
million.
$4.5 million.
Yeah.
UH also is run by the state. So it's a different level of state bureaucracy. They provide funding to BISC.
HISC provides funding to the grant, and the grant makers of the HISC decide where that funding goes, and some of it goes to the ISCs. Some of it goes to UH researchers. Some of it goes to Department of Agriculture. Some of it goes to the Forest Service. It goes to a lot of different people who are working on invasive species.
But UH runs you.
They do not fund us.
They don't fund you, but they're your umbrella. So you sit
Yes.
underneath of that. That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah, the money goes into an account in our name and then UH manages it for us. So I don't have like a checking account or even a credit card that I can just say, yeah, I use this. I have to go through UH for all of my procurement. So they make sure that we're following rules of procurement and that we're audited and all of that kind of stuff.
So to summarize then, when we look to address CRB, fire ants, coqui frogs, albizia, whatever amazing invasive species has gotten here
Yeah.
through the the Honolulu port
Yes.
and has landed in our county, and BISC goes to save the day. The state, through 2 different levels of bureaucracy, is trying to address the problem. But what they fail to fix, we end up catching and funding ourselves.
Yeah.
That is a mess.
It is probably not ideal, but it is the system that we have.
Thank you. So I promise you I wouldn't cut your funding.
Thank
So I'm not going to cut your funding. But there was issues with this resolution. So thank
Sure.
you to R&D and Councilmember Kagiwara for addressing those issues. I guess, long story short, the reason I asked all those questions is really just to point to, we are now addressing the problem that has been provided to us by the state. And if I could point at DOA and I could point at all these organizations, but the reality is, if the legislature wants to address invasive species, then they need to provide the funding to the correct layers of bureaucracy they have created that then support agencies like yours, or better support more investigation of containers coming in, or whatever it may be. But that's the legislature's job to get that done and funded. So I don't want to point at DOA, which I was kind of going that route. I don't want to point at DOA, but I do want to point at the ledge. They need to actually fund at the correct levels and layers of government that we have created to oversee things and make sure that the job is getting done.
Yeah, and the state legislature has been very interested in invasive species the last couple of years. There's been a lot of legislation
They're
around it.
interested.
There's been a lot of legislation. I wouldn't say I agree with everything that has been proposed or has gone through, but we do also testify at the state level on trying to improve this system as best we can. Yeah.
I'm glad that they're interested.
Councilmember Kennedy, kind of your timer has expired here in Kona.
Thank you, Mr. Inaba.
Never used.
Yeah, thank you for the latitude, Chair. Just pointing out, I think, what some of the hurdles that we face here in the county that this organization has helped tackle. And thank you to the Department of Research and Development for being patient. Thank you, Ms. Brewer. I yield, Chair.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember Eustace.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, Ms. Brewer. Great to see you. I really appreciate your leadership with BISC and the efforts you have in the community, especially being present in the community space and engaging with community partners. So thank you for that. I just wanted to go through some of the deliverables here for this allocation. We just had interim rule 26.1 go into effect last week. So I'm curious as to the engagement and involvement from community partners with the compliance training efforts with CRB.
Engagement from community partners. Sorry, I just want to clarify.
Yes. Sorry. So from the nurseries, arborists, particularly here in the infested zone on West Hawaii, I know that has been a major responsibility of BISC to take on those compliance trainings. How have those been going thus far?
We did, I want to say 5 trainings in the last 2 weeks we did 5 days of training and there were 4 trainings each day. So we did 20 trainings. But we saw a lot of county employees. So the county was very, very proactive in making sure that folks were trained and compliant from several different departments. We've had it's a little slower on the nursery and business side. I have been making inquiries to DAB, the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity, because they haven't yet really publicized it. So hoping that there can be a little bit more direct intervention from DAB to let these businesses know. I've had a few nurseries, a few tree care companies, landscapers, but we're not seeing sort of the big box stores or some of the other larger folks necessarily interacting with this at all, to be honest.
And does that mean at this point that those businesses are not in compliance?
They are non-compliant as of May 1st. Yeah.
Okay. I do keep pushing that word out there to community, but I definitely need DAB to advertise and help pushing that message to those partners in that space. So thank you for holding these trainings. And it also mentions that, let's see, so there's mention of a detection dog service. I know you have Manu already for the CRB detection,
Yes.
but then in also the expense description, it says detection dogs. So are you looking to employ an additional or more detection
Just the
dogs?
name of the contractor that we use is Hawaii Detection Dogs. So yeah, there's just only one right now.
Are they intended to train more for that purpose?
If more money were coming her way, then maybe. Right now we only really have enough funding for one dog, but I think in the future, well, we hope that the compliance agreements will keep CRB from spreading, but obviously if it were to continue to spread to other parts of the island, we would be looking at increasing the number of dogs.
Okay, thank you. And then jumping to the two-line spittle bug deliverables. Some of the staff funding will be to support your efforts, outreach, education, and research.
Mm-hmm.
But hasn't USDA and NRCS taken more of a lead in this? Is this to support their efforts, or are they kind of?
No, this is not considered a pest at the federal level because, I mean, the USDA gets involved with pests that are coming in from outside the country. And this is a North American species. So it doesn't rise to the level of response from USDA. So this becomes a state level issue and it's only on this island. So it's sort of an island issue, unfortunately.
Maybe mistaken that I thought USDA, especially the Waimea office, their regional office, was doing some outreach and information.
NRCS.
Yeah, NRCS.
NRCS. Yeah, they were involved early on because it's a pest of ranches. So they were working with the ranches to try and come up with some grasses that are resistant. So they were involved in that project. I don't know how involved they still are, but yes, they were working with the ranches because they provide advice and support on things that are happening on the soil. And this was definitely affecting the landscape.
Absolutely. And I do know they had lost a lot of federal dollars to support their staff in their office there. So
they haven't been very, I mean, and I think that could be part of why Mark Thorne is right now really feeling a little like we really need this funding. We need some more help. We've been talking about it a lot the last year. I think there are fewer people working on it than there were about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. So this is kind of just picking up some of those pieces there that I would see.
Yeah.
All right.
And
then,
hopefully temporary, that this will eventually become a permanent position in some way. But right now it's feeling very dire because we do see it spreading to other parts of the island. So we don't want to wait, a year or two to see if someone else is going to pick it up.
okay. And then shifting a little bit, because it's not in the deliverables, and Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder mentioned it by name, and it's not in the list of one of the final whereas clauses, but little fire ants, is that something still on your radar, or is this really the Hawaii Ant Lab is kind of taking the lead on that? And are you supporting them in any capacity there?
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii Ant Lab is the leader on the research, and so we follow all of their guidelines. So we work really closely with them to make sure that we're recommending to the public is always the latest up to date. Some of the funding that Councilmember Onishi was talking about earlier, we started about 10 years ago a community program to help neighbors, so if people get a group of neighbors together, that we will come out and help them mix up the bait and teach them how to treat. And that is still a program that we have ongoing. Now, 10 years ago, we had probably 100 communities in a year asking for that, and now we get maybe 3. So I think that people, one thing that's good about it is we've been able to share enough information that I think people feel pretty confident doing it on their own. But that continues to be a program that we offer. So if folks anywhere on the island can get their neighbors together and they want to do treatments as a neighborhood HUI, then we will come out and work with them, and we give them a year of support. We only give 2 treatments. That only includes 2 of the 10 to 12 treatments, but we help them figure out what they need to buy and how to pull their resources so that they can work together to treat in the neighborhood.
That's great to hear. In the North Kohala community, they've definitely had Hoy Ant Lab, and love to have you and your team up there in that space too, especially working in concert with our Department of Parks and Recreation. We have some vector control issues at some of our parks at Keokea Beach Park, and then some of the surrounding properties, as well as some of the riparian and stream corridors that are unfortunately moving some of these invasive species through that area. So definitely need to bring you up into that space and work with community there. The last question I have is your approach with management and control in the use of using drones for those purposes. Is that something that's on your radar or willing to work with partners that do that sort of work?
Oh yeah, we're absolutely, we've been using drones for detection, imagery and detection for about 10 years. And we have a team of folks who are FAA certified drone operators. This last year and a half, we've been moving through the FAA process to be able to use pesticides from drones. We just received funding from the state, which hasn't totally come through yet, but it's coming, that we will be doing our first tests this coming year of using pesticides on plants. Most likely our first test case is going to be fountain grass. So that'll be sometime in 2026. And then we also are looking to be able to use pesticides to treat coconut rhinoceros beetle and palm trees. So you can use the drones, go to the top of a palm tree and spray there. Yeah.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Ms. Brewer. I really appreciate the work you do. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Vice Chair Onishi.
Thank you, Chair. So just about his really helped the county back then. His is the one that had provided the funding for Parks and Rec to set up their fire ant team. They provided funding for 3 positions. They provided all the equipment with the funding, also the pesticides and so forth. And that's how we started that first year. Then thanks to Mayor Kinoy and Director Homa, they made the second year as a permanent positions and put a permanent, section of the Parks and Rec. Yeah, so his really helped out. Then the next year I went back and they provided us that funding that helped with the community. But the problem with the money was supposed to be used to help control the properties around our county facilities. Because if we could have them controlling the ants, then our fire ant crew could have gone in less times a year, because then that window span would have been longer, right? Because right now they go in, I think, 4 to 6 weeks. If they had the communities around the parks or the facilities would do that treatment, maybe it would be 8 to 10 weeks that they would have to go in. So, but that really didn't work out because of funding. But my question is, and this is from the last meeting, about the funding of how much money goes towards the staffing. You folks got the numbers? Because you guys are supposed to come back with the numbers for me.
Yeah, we have a updated budget. Oh, yeah, sure.
Frank, you have that. It's about 107,000.
Yeah.
Glenn Sacco, Economic Development Specialist, Research and Development. So you're referring to the 2 staff members that is in that
That do
contract.
the research and so forth.
And some of it would be for other staff too, for outreach staff and stuff.
So it comes out to approximately 170,000, which would include the fringes also.
170,000 from the 250,000.
Correct.
So that means only 80,000 is going to the programs.
for the other programs?
Most of our program is staff. That's most of what we do is people. Like whether it's education, right? Then I need to pay for people to go out there and do that work. Or if it's being out in the field. I mean, herbicides don't cost
It does add up.
$80,000. It adds up, but it's paying the person to go out and utilize the pesticide, or it's paying the person to go out to the ranch and get down on their knees and do the measurements for two-line spittle bug and then meet with the ranchers to explain like how the best approach,
So basically, this 250,000 is going just towards salaries. R&D, correct?
There's a line item, if I recall correctly, for supplies. So, but the bulk of it is for the staff.
Okay, but you folks don't have that line item of how much goes to the supplies?
We do have it.
Okay, how much is it?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't have it with me, but it was in the documents that we had submitted.
So, to Mr. Connolly Kleinfelder's comments about how the county again is providing funds to help. I mean, it's great. I mean, to help support the farmers, ranchers, right, residents, but with products. And because to me, research and all that, that's why we have CTAR, we have the university, we have HCC, right? We have USDA. I mean, we have all those entities that all supposed to be basically working together, which they're not. They're all in their separate silos. And so that's why everybody does their certain things that they do, right?
I would say that, I mean, one of the roles that we serve at BISC is to be that bridge between those.
I understand it.
various,
No, I understand,
you
but
know,
what I'm just saying is that
organizations.
government already, state governments are also already providing, so for me, BISC should be the guys on the ground and implementing like the services.
but I need to pay.
No, but providing also the supplies that they can help, the treatments. That's what I look at. Something like how back then when had the coqui frogs, right? R&D had the pumps, the sprayers, right? And I think R&D was in charge of leasing it out to people so that the communities could go and spray, right? And they would provide all that. That's what I look at our level of helping the residents, right? At the county level, state, they're going to do the research. They got to do all that, right? That's their job, right? But we're on the boots on the ground. And that's what I look at. So that's why when I look at this 250,000 that we're spending from taxpayer money, should be going back to our taxpayers to help them treat the problem that they have, right? You have any comments on, you have your breakdowns?
Yes. So, sorry. So what we have here, in addition to the staffing cost, supplies, $10,000, which would include field gear, tools for invasive beetle control, services, which includes the detection dog, aerial work, contracts, and domestic travel, going back and forth over to Kona for CRB work. There's some miscellaneous, another 10,500, vehicle maintenance, and some for the PCSU staff in the administration. Yeah.
I think R&D, you folks need to really reevaluate these funds because you're using taxpayers' money, right? We need to be helping the taxpayers, right? Island-wide. I mean, because we have all different types of invasive species that are going on, right? And maybe R&D, you guys got to start working more with BISC in getting HISC to get more funding to do research and so forth.
So
We're not doing research. I mean, we're
Well, it
on the
says
ground.
Research in here, and part of it says that
working with the
We
two
work with
staff
the
members
researchers.
directly on research, outreach, education, implementation.
Oh, with Bill and Spittlebug. Yeah, that is part of Mark's program
Yeah,
is to
so,
do
I mean, I
research.
just really.
But
off of
really,
what
it's about getting.
I don't want to get into an argument with you. Yeah. I don't. I just saying. But I'm just saying this. But I'm just saying that R&D using taxpayers' money should be going out and trying to help, like how we did with the ANT program, right? Trying to provide fund or supplies to the people, right, to help fight the fire ants, control the fire ants in their in their communities and so forth. Like the Coqui Frogs, having those, pump station, the pumpers, right? To help spray the areas and so forth, right? And I think at that time funding was also provided to get the lime or something to put into the tanks for them to spray, right? I mean, so that's how I would recommend that R&D, you guys look in future funding to do that. Yeah. Chair, I'll yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this resolution? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving resolution 517-26 as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember Villegas, resolution 517-26 as amended is approved.
Is there any testimony for resolution 553-26? Hearing none, resolution 553-26 authorize the payment of funds of later fiscal years to enter into a multi-year lease agreement for one multifunction copy machine to be used by the Department of Public Works. Authorize the mayor to enter into a 5-year lease agreement with an estimated annual cost of $2,336.76 to use by the department's building division in Hilo. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request.
Chair, motion to approve resolution 553-26.
Is there a second in Hilo?
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Husted, seconded by Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder to approve resolution 553-26. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember Villegas.
Chair, Councilmember Kagiwara has also stepped out.
7 in favor, 2 absent. Councilmembers Kagiwara and Villegas. Resolution 553-26 is approved. Thank you, Councilmember Kimball.
Is there any testimony for resolution 554-26? Hearing none, resolution 554-26 transfers, appropriates, and appropriation out and from a designated fund account, credit saying to a designated fund account, with a grant to Lala Kea Foundation to assist with expenses relating to its second annual Hilo Aloha event. Transfers $2,000 from the Clerk Council Services Contingency Relief Account, Council District 5, and credits to the Department of Liquor Control Public Programs Account, introduced by Councilmember Connie Lee Kleinfelder.
Sorry, my computer is lagging.
554-26.
Thank you, Chair. Motion to approve resolution 554-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder, seconded by Councilmember Husted to approve resolution 554-26. Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder.
Thank you very much, Chair. Look for everyone's support.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving resolution 554-26, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember Villegas, resolution 554-26 is approved.
Is there any testimony for resolution 555-26? Hearing none, resolution 555-26 transfers, appropriates, and appropriation out and from the designated fund account and credit same to a designated fund account to return grant funds previously awarded by resolution number 471-26. Transfers $2,000 in the Department of Liquor Control Public Programs account and returns funds to Clerk Council Services Contingency Relief Account, introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request.
Chair, motion to adopt resolution 555-26.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder, seconded by Councilmember Husted to approve resolution 555-26. Any discussion?
Chair,
Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder.
just wanted to recognize this resolution's number. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving resolution 555-26, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember Villegas, resolution 555-26 is approved.
Bills for first reading. Is there any testimony for Bill 148? Hearing none, Bill 148 designates tax map key 66001-010 as La'ila'i Park and amends Chapter 15, Article 8, Section 15-68.1, and amends Chapter 14, Article 1, Section 14-1 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2016 edition as amended relating to parks and recreational facilities, as Lailai Park located in Waimea to the Parks and Recreational Facility Schedule and to Section 14-1 of the County Code, which prohibits the consumption of alcohol at any time, introduced by Councilmember Eustis.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 148 at first reading.
Second in Hilo.
Second.
I'm gonna say that was a motion by Councilmember Eustis and a second by, was that Councilmember Galimba?
Indeed it was.
Ooh, okay, thank you. And a second by Councilmember Galimba. Councilmember Eustis.
Thank you, Chair. And nothing really else to share about this. I did share the mo'olelo of this future named park space within committee. So here to answer any questions anyone might have on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of approving Bill 148 at first reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember Villegas, Bill 148 is approved at first reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 150? Hearing none, Bill 150 amends orders number 2545 as amended the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2026. Appropriates revenues in the state grants safe routes to school non-infrastructure account $50,344 and appropriates the same to the safe routes to school non-infrastructure account introduced by Councilmember Connelly E. Kleinfelder by request.
Motion to approve Bill 150 at first reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Connelly Kleinfelder, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Bill 150 at first reading. Any discussion?
Yes, Chair.
Councilmember Connelly Kleinfelder.
Just noting for the record that Councilmember Eustis made the motion.
And sorry, did you have, what are you pointing out?
You said that I made the motion to.
Oh, got it. Thank you. Councilmember Eustis with the motion, Councilmember Villegas with the second. Thank you, Councilmember Connelly Kleinfelder.
But I do have questions.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Okay. I see my Public Works members here in the chambers here in Hilo. Did you bring me information and funding and total funding on this? This thing has been bugging me for years. And I thought we were getting somewhere, but then I feel like we're not. And the last time the more I thought about the numbers that you gave me, Mr. Thompson, I was trying to track which part was county match, what was federal match, what was state match. And then what I'm really looking at is equity of this program across the island, because I'm just not seeing it. I'm seeing 2 schools in 2 areas, all east side of Hawaii Island. That's all I see from this program. If it was designated specifically for these areas only, fine. But I'm just wondering if that's actually the reality.
Good morning. Keone Thompson, Engineering Division Chief. So we're speaking to Bill 151?
Yep.
Okay, so.
No, I think we're on Bill
150.
150.
So 150 speaks to the safety equipment and the money for that, the $50,000.
Correct.
Yes. So that money will be used for, sorry, I was rushing to get here. I'm a little bit out of breath.
No, take your time. Take your time. Breathe.
So it has to do with buying safety equipment, data collection around schools, and that's island-wide. So our Safe Routes to School coordinator uses those funds, plan to use those funds to go to the schools and collect data and coordinate with the schools.
Okay.
So we have been reaching out to the schools. We actually.
Sorry, so you said this magical keyword, island-wide, right?
Yes.
What projects has the department chosen island-wide?
So this is a new program that we're incorporating with our projects.
Time-wise new, meaning how many years?
It's been approximately about 4 years or so that we've been really incorporating Safe Routes to School in our projects and trying to acquire grant money to help out with our projects.
because that's about how long I've been asking the same question. So I appreciate that. So 4 years, okay?
Yeah, sure. So this is the first time we're getting this state grant to can buy some equipment and work on some safety equipment. So we have a Safe Routes to School coordinator that reaches out to the schools. And with Pat, they go and educate the students how to walk and bike safely and give education and like saying flashing beacons and that kind of equipment to the students. And they've, I think I have to admit, sorry.
Breathe.
I was actually running to it.
Breathe.
Yeah. So
I'd rather have you breathe and give me good information than stress.
so let's see.
Maybe I'll go slower. How many projects has the department chosen to apply this funding? And I mean, also, I'm looking at 1512, which is a bigger portion, which is what we're going to touch on in a few minutes.
Sure, that's next. So I want to speak. So so that program has taught bike safety. We've gone with Pat bike events in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 schools island-wide, over 600 fourth grade students that we've educated and met with. We also just had surveys of the school, what the concerns were at the schools, just educate the students on the proper etiquette of riding bikes. And that's island-wide. That's what this money would be used for, the outreach to the schools.
This is the
$50,000.
$50,000. So
150.
So non-infrastructure funding to 12 schools across the island. Safe Routes to School state grant.
Well, it's 12 schools that we've provided that bike safety training to 600 students.
Okay.
But we reached out to 80% of the DOA schools, which is 32 of the 40 schools around island.
Okay.
Yes.
And who's doing all this?
This is our Safe Routes to School coordinator, Jesse Domian.
What's the name?
Jesse Domian.
Okay. Yeah. I think my bigger questions are gonna come for Bill 151.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, and then the 12 schools, which I list them for me.
So it's Kohala, High Hill, Oluoloa, Wakena, Powilo, Kelkaha, Volcano School of Arts and Science, Kapiolani, Wakewaina, Konawaina, Kakai, and Keao.
That's equity. Thank you. Okay, I yield, Jay.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Bill 150? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving Bill 150 at first reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is everyone in the Hilo chambers?
Yes.
All right, 9 in favor. Bill 150 is approved at first reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 151? Hearing none, Bill 151 amends orders number 25-46 as amended relating to public improvements and financing thereof for the fiscal year July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026. As Department of Public Works Safe Routes to Waikia School, Kilauea Avenue Part 1 project, $1,386,656 to the capital budget. Funds for this project shall be provided from state grants receivable, introduced by Councilmember Conley Kleinfelder by request. This required the 2/3 vote of entire membership to pass.
Motion to approve Bill 151 at first reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Hustis, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Bill 151 at first reading. Any discussion?
Yes, please.
Councilmember Conley Kleinfelder.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, Mr. Thompson and Ms. Kalolo, thank you for being here. If you would introduce yourself again.
Keone Thompson, Engineering Division Chief.
Okay, so this is the one, 1.386 million.
Yes.
And last time, let's just break down the numbers again. So this is a state grant, correct?
Yes.
And the whole thing, 1.3 million?
1.386 is state grant.
State grant, okay. And then there's a county match required?
No.
No county match required.
Yes.
Is the county putting funding into this as well?
It's putting money into this project, yes.
How much?
$621,344.
$621,000.
$344.
Okay, so a grand total of about $2 million, yeah?
The state and
State and county combined.
state and county combined for the federal match.
And what's the federal match?
A little bit over $8 million.
8 million. Okay.
Yes.
So a $10 million program altogether.
Yes.
Who was in charge of getting the schools to the table for this? Who picked the schools?
So this Waikea Safe Routes to School, we were in charge of selecting the project.
Okay, and this was specifically Waiakea Safe Routes to School.
That was the name we coined it in order to be eligible for the Safe Routes to School funding.
What was the grant called from the state?
So this was transportation alternate program funding initially. Then we also got Safe Routes to School grant money too.
Okay, was it specific to one area?
No.
Okay, so how many schools are getting this funding?
So right now, this is strictly this Kilauea, near Waikea, the Waikea complex.
So Waiakea.
So can I speak to why that was selected as one of the first ones besides Ka'akai?
Please do so.
So
let's just clarify that. So we got 2 schools.
So there's but Ka'akai is not part of this funding. It's a
Keone
different.
Poko. Oh, it's a different funding source.
It's a that one is also a TAP, but TAP funding, but we put Safe Routes to School on it too.
Okay, so
Yes.
and that's state money.
No, that is federal money with county match.
And neither one of those had requirements on what school was going to be applied to. That was done internally in the county.
Correct.
Okay,
With approval from the state, obviously, right? That we meet the requirements.
okay.
Yes.
And
You know,
so,
yes.
so just summarizing then for right now,
Yes.
we have 2 schools we've chosen, 2 different funding sources. This bill in front of us, 151, specific to Kilauea Avenue, Waikea, Waina.
Waikea Waina, it's within the 1 mile radius. So one of the criteria for Safe Routes to School funding, which we try to capitalize on so we can assist with for the projects, is that if it's within a mile, we try to grab the project and then apply for this extra money so that we can, capitalize on what we can provide to the community.
Okay,
So it's Waikea Waina, Waikea Elementary, Waikea Intermediate, and Waikea High. So it's within that 1 mile radius, yeah.
okay. It is.
And then as you look at it, for a highly urban area, it's serving such a large population. This is one of the only schools that doesn't have didn't have a shoulder that could walk safely to school, especially for elementary kids.
This is one of the only schools.
Yes, if you look at, besides Puwilo,
that-
rural areas, for highly urban,
in
dense.
urban areas.
Yes.
Not Kona. No
Kona, if
school.
you look at Kona, like Kona Waina has a sidewalk, they have paved shoulders. If you look at even, there's not many schools that don't have at least a paved shoulder, especially in the urban area. There's no place. I mean, other than Pohoa,
Was it,
but-
was the grant specific to urban areas only?
No. But then we're capitalizing on, just federal money in general. So we applied for that and we applied for the Safe Routes to School, right? Yeah.
Okay, so this is one fund of money that we're applying, and we're only applying it to Hilo. And we have other money that's only being applied towards Keone Poko,
Keone Poko, yes.
but the rest of the island either didn't get chosen or didn't qualify, even though the grant funding that's coming in seems to be open as a spectrum to any type of zoning, be urban or rural or whatever, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and who chose that?
So our department chose that.
Public Works
yes.
Department.
Yeah.
Was there a certain amount of people who chose that?
There was a group of us, yes. We
Oh.
talked about the projects island-wide. This is going back 4 years ago when we identified the areas where they didn't have any place for students to walk to school. And the one that showed up was primarily Waikea. And then Kahakai, Keone Poko School too. But Keone Poko has actually a paved or a grass shoulder, but it's not really smooth and level. Whereas Waikea, there was some places where there's no place to pass. I mean, there was rocks right up to the paved roadway, yeah.
So I'm no expert in island-wide schools,
Yes.
but I would contend that there are many schools in our county, and many of them could use upgrades to their walkable areas for our Kiki safety. My concern right now is that a limited group of individuals took a very healthy grant and applied it to two specific areas with what I'm gauging.
So we actually applied for the grant. It wasn't given to us. So this is something we went out there and we fought for.
And when
know.
you, and beautiful, thank you.
Yeah.
So when you applied for it, you said we're only gonna give this to 2 schools or 3 schools?
No, we applied for this and then we said, this is what we're proposing to do. This is the area served, and it was awarded to us.
Yeah.
Based on the need and justification.
I appreciate the program. I appreciate the applying. I appreciate what you're doing. I like the intention. Where I'm headed is the equity piece, which is what I'm not seeing. 2 schools. We call it 3 if you want to add in Waikea High School and Waikea Lineup. Those both have, my kids went there. So I understand those schools. I've been going to those schools for the last 15 years and I drive past them every single day. I understand how close they are. I understand Kilauea Avenue. I get it. My concern is there was a very interesting process that occurred for the last 4 years, which has directed this funding source directly to service only one side of the island, and you missed, in my opinion, the rest of the island and the rest of the schools, all of which have concerns in getting kids safely. Mountain View has nothing and no access. That's just one in my district I can point to. I know last time Deputy Director said, we're gonna apply money into other areas, into other schools. My concern is how we even got here in the first place. And it took me 4 years to get to this point with you folks.
So can I speak to that? So we are looking at other schools. It's not that we're not looking at it. And Deputy Director did speak to that we are going to look at other schools, and we are. We're going to do in-house design. So we're going to make some shoulder improvements so highways can go and pave. The ones like Powillo School. We actually have a list of future plan projects where we don't have grant money for it, like how we have for Waikea, but we will be doing in-house design, and Neil is planning to pave the shoulders so then they have access. And on that list, there's 6 schools right now that's planned. It's Powillo School. It's been on the books for like 2 years now. I think we had CIP money, but we don't have money. We haven't had funding for that yet. Powillo School, Kohala High School, Elementary School. EBD Silver has been on the list for a while. You know, how we're making a turn lane, making improvements. We were planning to do that last year, but it didn't happen. Volcano School of Arts and Sciences, that's another one we can pave the shoulders. Hilo Union School is actually something that we're actually planning to do soon as a CIP project. And then Poho Village Road shoulder improvements, Poho High and Intermediate. We're looking at paving the shoulders in that side. So that's just all in its infancy. So you know how long it took to get to this point? It took us 4 years applying grants, getting the consultants on board, and only now we're getting the money to take it out the bid and build. And that's where we are now. It's just starting up. And we want to continue this and move forward, but we really are trying to make this place a better place by trying to get this grant money in, identifying where the shortfalls are, and then from there, getting it done. And that's right now we're just starting.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can go more and more.
And if I just may add, Kelsey Kalua Lewis, business manager, I think when they go on, they initially look, at this grant funding, which is just, the program kind of just started with Public Works.
For 4 years, yeah.
4 years, which was grant applications, getting the consultants on board. We just got the federal award for the larger Waikea Safe Routes to School. But when we go for these grant funds, we're basically competing against other counties. So while we'd like to address equity, that is our goal, and that's what Deputy Director talks about, doing work kind of in-house with county funds. We also want to make sure that the schools we're choosing, so we can get the pot of money, are actually, the most critical needs schools, so that when the grantor looks at the application, it's showing, oh, there are no shoulders, oh, there is no space to walk. And then, as we keep applying for these grants, as long as the funding is available, we can go to, and I hate to say this, but like, because obviously all the kids need safety going to school, but what is the highest priority? And then knowing that, okay, this school will secure us the grant funds. Whereas we put in something that may already have wide shoulders or may already have, to what whoever is evaluating the grant application may already be okay, whereas on another county, oh, this school really hit it. So there's like a little bit of strategic planning that we have to use, that the engineers have to use along with the deputy and director of which schools to pick. And I think the equity piece that we try to use to balance it out is doing all these little adjustments in the other schools that Keone had mentioned.
So, to what you just said, the application for the grant that was submitted was specific to schools or was not specific to schools?
It was specific to this project.
This project in front of us, this bill,
Correct.
Hilo.
To the White Care Safe Routes to School, I mean, the Kilauea Safe Routes to School White Care Complex. Yes.
We requested and we received
Yes.
$8 million from the feds, 1.3 million from the state, and 600,000 from county, specifically and only for Hilo.
So,
That was the application that we sent in to the federal government, is what you're saying.
so it was actually a lot less, but they covered the difference because the bids came in high, and we were thankful for that.
But that was the application was
Yes.
submitted solely for
that project.
for Hilo,
For not Hilo, White Care,
for the White Care.
because it
complex.
qualified based on the, what we described in the application. Yes.
Okay, earlier, I thought you had said this money was not specific to one.
So,
one
it,
complex.
so, sorry, maybe I misunderstood what you were asking. That grant can be applied for any school on the island if we have a project, but right now we're capitalizing different sources of funding. That was the highest one on the list that qualified the best for trying to grab that money, get that grant money.
So the application then was specific to
Correct.
Hilo.
And that's how we got that grant money. It was awarded for that particular project.
And so when you applied for it, that was the intention.
Correct.
So there was
Councilman Cornelius Kleinfeld, there, your timer has gone off here.
okay. Okay, I yield for now.
Any other discussion in Hilo? Okay, coming here to Kona, Councilmember Villegas.
Yeah, I just want to thank Councilmember Cornelia E. Kleinfelder for elevating the conversation to equitable distribution of resources, especially grant resources. In my district, I have 2 elementary schools that have serious issues with safe routes, Holualoa and Kahakai. Historically, money has been sourced on this island on the east side and spent on the east side. Taxpayer, all you have to do is look at the number of parks and facilities and whatnot. So I appreciate the elevation of this conversation to tackling that hard issue. We can't change things that have happened in the past, but we can try to realign priority systems and require more equitable distribution of resources. It's human nature to fix things and to work on things that we know and come in personal contact with. But we have a responsibility with this island being as big as it is to reach out and connect with other spaces and ensure that resources are contributed and allocated more fairly, for lack of a better term. I appreciate the conversation. I find myself confused with some of the answers. So the grant was applied, could have been applied to any school, but specifically the grant was written in asking for funds for this school. So I'm just seeing it all bounce around and whether or not it can be changed at this point. I just hope that the actual message lands and the opportunity to apply funding more equitably island-wide gets taken up and put forward in future. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. All right, any last discussion?
Chair, if I could,
Okay, briefly, please.
I'll keep it brief. So one more time, just to summarize it explicitly well. The federal and state grants that we're receiving were specific to Hilo, Waikia Complex, and Keone Poko. That's the two different sources that I've seen.
So for these two, yes.
For these two, and that's, I mean, we applied for funding for
Yes, we have
These-
for funding for those two.
for
Dark Eye-
those two areas.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't open funding and then decided to be applied towards these schools.
No.
It was absolutely specific to these schools in the application.
Correct.
Okay. And the leadership team deciding this was an internal team in Public Works,
Yes, internal team in Public Works.
and this was done 4 years ago.
It started 4 years ago. We looked at all the schools island-wide, and we looked at what the need was, and we talked to the schools. We reached out to the schools what the needs were, and but yeah,
And who is the internal team comprised of?
it was the engineering team, the projects team.
How many people?
There was 4, and then of course the director at the time was included in that.
Who was the
discussion.
director?
It's Steve.
Fauzi.
Yes.
And then who are the members of the team?
That would be me with Robin, Melanie, and I know Jess was involved, but I want to think there was another engineer too as well. Just can't think of the name right now, but yeah, I know Jess was involved too. So
Is the department addressing other grants for other areas of the island, or is the funding that you've discussed and the other projects you discussed coming from fuel tax revenue or general fund revenues?
what is that again?
The other projects that you discussed, the 12 other schools you've been looking at, these are going to be general fund funded?
The 12 other schools is something that we've been working with for giving educational purposes and outreach as part of our program that we've been trying to incorporate. There's a 6 schools future plan where we can do shoulder improvements, where we're doing in-house design. We're doing topo now, and then we're planning to do some plans and drawings, and then highways will plan to either highways or we'll take it out to bid. But right now it's highways planning to widen the shoulders in those areas so they have access.
So it
So
could
not-
be highways or fuel tax,
Yeah,
highway fund.
So fuel tax funds or general fund?
Most likely not general fund, just fuel tax funds
Okay,
or our highway fund.
but not grants.
As of the immediate improvements that you have been talking about, not grants.
Okay.
Yeah.
We would have to apply for more grants, and we've been trying. So it just hasn't been. We haven't been awarded anything else at this time.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
Yes.
I'm not happy with the geographical equity. I do have questions that I will be taking other places. But I appreciate that you came in with the information and were prepared, and you ran across the street to provide it.
Well, you guys went so fast on the reso, so yeah.
Moving quick today, except for me.
Good, yeah.
No, thank you for the information, and yeah, I'll be digging a little bit further. Just for the council, it's important that you folks look at equity across the island, and I'm hoping that in the future, the members that are here will be watching how the funds are spent, what grants you proceed to look for in the future, so that we do have more routes island-wide for our Keiki safety.
Most definitely.
I love the intention of the grants, I'm just watching the process very carefully. Thank you. I yield, Chair.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving Bill 151 at first reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry, how many do we have in Hilo?
Everyone except for Councilmember Kimball.
All right. Bill 151 passes first reading, 8 in favor, 1 absent. Councilmember Kimball.
Is there any testimony for Bill 155? Hearing none, Bill 155 amends ordinance number 2545 as amended, the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal ending June 30, 2026, appropriates revenues in the federal grants Home Investment Partnership American Rescue Plan Program account $1,977,568 and appropriates the same to the Home Investment Partnership American Rescue Plan accounts projects $1,817,225 and administration $160,343, introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request.
Motion to approve Bill 155 at first reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Bill 155 at first reading. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember Kimball, Bill 155 is approved at first reading.
Bills for second and final reading. Is there any testimony for Bill 144? Hearing none, Bill 144 adopts a pay plan for persons employed by the county other than those whose pay is otherwise provided for, designating payroll periods, paydays, prescribing requirements with respect to official fidelity bonds, and repealing ordinance number 2539 and all amendments thereto. Said ordinance being known as the Salary Ordinance of 2026. Establishes rates of compensation for appointed employees in the legislative branch, in the Office of Housing and Community Development, county physicians, student helpers, and senior community service aides for various county agencies. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request. First reading, April 22, 2026.
Motion to approve Bill 144 at second and final reading.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Bill 144 at second and final reading. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 9 ayes. Bill 144 is approved at second and final reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 145? Hearing none, Bill 145 amends ordinance number 2545 as amended, the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2026, appropriates revenues in the federal grants Housing Choice Voucher Program account $1 million and appropriates the same to the Choice Voucher Rental Subsidies account. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request. First reading, April 22, 2026.
Motion to approve Bill 145 at second and final reading.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Bill 145 at second and final reading. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9 ayes. Bill 145 is approved at second and final reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 146? Hearing none, Bill 146 amends ordinance number 2545 as amended, the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal ending June 30, 2026, increases revenues in the state grants Transit-Oriented Development Capital Improvement Program for 34 Rainbow Affordable Housing Project account, $1 million, and appropriates the same to the Transit-Oriented Development Capital Improvement Program for 34 Rainbow Affordable Housing Project account. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request. First reading, April 22, 2026.
Motion to approve Bill 146 at second and final reading.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Bill 146 at second and final reading. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 9 ayes. Bill 146 is approved at second and final reading. Thank you, Housing, for being here.
Is there any testimony for Bill 149? Hearing none, Bill 149 amends orders number 2545 as amended, the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2026, appropriates revenues in the Parks, Recreation, Miscellaneous Contributions account, $160,000, and appropriates the same to United States Tennis Association Tennis Court Resurfacing and Installation of Smart Access System account. Funds to be used to resurface a tennis court and install a smart access system. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request. First reading, April 22, 2026.
Motion to approve Bill 149 at second and final reading.
Moved by Councilmember Houston, seconded by Councilmember Villegas to approve Bill 149 at second and final reading. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 9 ayes. Bill 149 is approved at second and final reading. This brings us to the end of our agenda. Councilmember Houston, any announcements?
Thank you, Chair. Just two. First of all, this weekend is the Visitor Industry Charity Walk, supporting a lot of our nonprofits across the island. So opportunity to get involved, lend a little help and support them. And then secondly, today is Teacher Appreciation Day as well. So I want to mahalo all of our teachers in the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any announcements over in Hilo? If not,
No,
we'll-
Chair.
Oh, go
We're good,
ahead.
thanks.
Member Kagiwara.
I was just saying we're all okay over here. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Villegas.
Yes, this Saturday at Kahalu'umakai, we'll be celebrating the 25th Annual Kawi Keaoli Festival from 1 to 5. Anyone interested, please come down. There will be music, there will be food, there will be educational booths, lauhala weaving. Should be a really exciting day for us to all get together and celebrate Kawi Keaoli. This event was postponed because it was originally supposed to happen the weekend of the Kona Low. And also following on May 16th in Kailua Bay will be the blessing of the new Outrigger canoe racing course down in Kailua Bay. So really grateful for all the work that's been put into ensuring that the race course is safe and healthy for the ocean ecosystems. So just a shout out for anyone who would like to come and join us in celebrating in Kailua this weekend and next weekend. That's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Clerk Hendricks.
Yeah, just real quick, I just wanted to make a note that our videographer, Joseph, this is his final meeting with us at this time. He's moving on to another venture, so we wish him well as he moves forward and is trying a new opportunity to take care of his ohana. We thank him for his services. He's innovative, he was engaged, very pleasant to be around. So just wanted to, again, wish him well and say ahui ho, Joseph.
Thank you for that note, Mr. Hendricks. And yes, on behalf of the council, we extend our gratitude to him for helping improve and getting us moving forward with our videography. I did want to check in, Councilmember Kirkowitz, I believe there's an event in Pahoa this weekend. Did you want to speak to that briefly?
Sure, Chair. Thank you. This month actually marks the 8th anniversary of the Kilauea eruption. Our office has worked with community partners over the years to host a community activation. It's a town party and benefit concert. There'll be a street closure in downtown Pahoa so that artisans and craft vendors and food trucks can post up. It's a community-wide celebration. 3:30 p.m. till POW in the heart of Pahoa at the former Akibono Theater lots. More information can be found at activatepuna.com. We've got hula, music, live art, and a fire dancing showcase. So come and support Puna this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kirkowitz. And then a couple last announcements from me. First and foremost, this Sunday is Mother's Day, so we send our aloha out to all of the mothers in our community for all that they do. Happy Mother's Day. And then also looking ahead a couple weeks, want to inform the public on May 19th, we will be having our next set of meetings with a public hearing specific to our real property tax rates to occur on May 19th, 5:30 p.m. at our Hilo Council chambers. Later that week on the 21st, we will be in special council to discuss draft 2 of the county's operating and CIP budgets. So we encourage the public to engage both for the public hearing for real property tax rates as well as the special council meeting on the operating and CIP budgets. With that, we are at the end of all of our official agenda items and our announcements. Our meeting today is adjourned at 11:14 a.m. Mahalo.